This episode is about reflecting. There's this influencer / digital marketer. Her name's Allison Prince, that I came across through some of my paid coaching endeavors, i.e. some of the coaching groups I joined. And Allison Prince has this tool called the Because I Can yearly planner. The Because I Can yearly planner. And I freaking love it and use it all the time. And one of the things she talks about in this planner is taking some time each week to reflect. Purposely taking some time to reflect. And reflect on the goodness, the wins of what's happening. And I've been doing that. And so that's what I was going to do on this episode. I was like, why not reflect with everybody and encourage you to reflect with me while you're listening? So that's what we're going to do on this episode. We're going to do some reflecting. Listen in, enjoy, and get your reflecting hat on.
You know when someone is selling from stage and at the end the audience gets up and rushes to the back of the room to buy? That's a table rush. My name is Misha Z, and the Table Rush Talk Show is all about bringing you the tools, strategies, and tactics that you can use to grow your audience and inspire them to buy.
Yeah, so it's early on as I record this early in the morning. I was just going to do some reflecting just to settle the energy, breathe in the moment, find appreciation for where I am, where I've come from. So do this with me. Okay, let's make this a win-win for all of us. So if you're in the car right now as you're listening to this, or maybe you're doing some dishes as you're listening to this, let's just take a big breath in, everybody. Nice breath out. Ground a little bit. And really just look at your life, the space where you are for the last day or week. Let's just do that. Or if you want, for where you are in general. But I want it to focus on the positives. What have I learned? How far have I come? How's it good with my kids? Maybe how's it good with your spouse or your other relationships if you have them? Maybe business. Maybe you've been working on some new things or stretching yourself and trying some things. And that's the space I'm in right now. I've been working super hard for a good 4 years on playing in the digital marketing space, and some stuff's come together, and I've been working hard, trying new things. I was just reflecting on yesterday, for example. I spoke on a podcast. I was interviewed on a podcast that a section of it was my perfect audience. And how amazing is that? Right? I was like, wait a minute. And it was funny because it felt like the interview was a little wonky for a bit. But then they had some Q&As. They had a Q&A at the end. This was a live stream. I'd never done a live stream podcast interview before. So where I was interviewed on a live stream that I can remember. I'm trying to think, but nonetheless, some of the stuff I was teaching and talking about, someone had a question on, and this was actually an e-commerce focused podcast, and we were talking about the power of testimonial testimonials, video testimonials, customer testimonials, and Norm the beard guy. What's it called? Lunch with Norm, the Lunch with Norm podcast. He framed it under your brand image. It was really cool the way he did it. And I was like, man, that's powerful, the way you're talking about what I'm doing with brand image and your brand message and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, I'll just say I was in a smidge of upheaval. Is this going right, or what happened? Or as I reflect back on it, as I think and just reflect back on the wins and the learnings of that, I was talking about, the power of video testimonials, even if you think you're just selling widgets. Because I think a lot of people in the e-commerce space feel like they might be in the widget space. And so how do you make a connection with your customer? And I'm like, you just got to find it. There's a way to find that. And so someone said, a question came through, well, what about selling plant pots, planter pots or something like that? Pots, plant pots. And I was like, well, that's a great question. But instantly my mind went to my father, who loved his plants, and he just watered them and grew them and nurtured them, and a certain style of pot and plant actually drive that memory for me. And I said, I'm guessing that your customers or potential customers are making their own connection like that. So go out and ask them. And this person was like, yes! They had this aha moment. So that was a very powerful moment for me. Anyway, and then I also yesterday had I've been teaching these frameworks about, where I'm about to take a bunch of people on an influence tour. And I've been creating these frameworks to teach people how to dial in their message, start getting their stories in line, get their headlines together, like get their messaging dialed in. Who is their audience? Who do you want your audience to be? Like just doing a bunch of, what do you call it? Like the blocking and tackling. And, but it's been helping a ton of people, and they've been vocal about it. They're like, this is amazing. But I guess my point is, and I'll ask you as well in a second, any learnings like that for you going on right now? Like ton of messy action for me, ton of uncomfortableness, putting myself out there in a big way, teaching ideas, purposefully, mindfully teaching ideas, creating frameworks, but it can feel messy and dirty. When I say dirty, like covered in mud and scraping your knees and getting bounced around. And but if I reflect on it and go, yeah, this is good, man. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm putting myself out there like I wanted to, and there is good feedback coming in if I'm willing to look for it and focus on the proof of learning. I have this coach. Maybe I'll do a episode on it one day. But the power of looking for proof of learning, confirmation of learning. I've touched on this a few times. But so there's that. And if I just slow down and breathe and be like, all right, I don't need to do anything for a moment other than sort of reflect and savor the cool things, how powerful that can be, and ground the energy. I love that. So another thing was, I've got a 22-year-old son named Cooper. He's super excited, kind of out of nowhere, to help me build and do what I'm doing, and he wants to help with the back-end tech and the copywriting and be the integrator, what we call the integrator. But we went out to dinner just to celebrate the founding member launch. And, having a bunch of people jump in the Influence Army that are learning and excited, and the community's good. But two things. One, I was like, you know what, I will celebrate and have a little dinner. Go out to dinner and invite somebody. So I was like, let's invite Coops. Coops was all in, and it was super fun. He was super talkative, and we talked a lot about how he can help and what I'm building, what we're building. And it was really cool. So just a reflective moment of young Coops sort of coming back around and being interested in what's happening and such. And it's kind of cool as a parent, as kids pull away, come back, pull away, come back. So maybe you've got some of that. What else can I reflect on? I'll tell you one thing that I'm reflecting on is I was making some hard choices, kind of lopping off some friends that we were growing separate directions, or growing different directions, at least for the time being, and they didn't feel supportive. And if I truly look in the mirror, there's my side of the coin where perhaps unwittingly or wittingly, I wasn't being supportive of them either. And so I went through a space of aloneness, of really being comfortable with that as well, and being like, all right, I'm going to create the space for new friendships, new relationships, new community. Well, of course, now we've got the Influence Army, which is, the spark has been lit. It's growing. It's amazing. We've got that amazing community, and then new friends are materializing. So if I'll just slow down and reflect on that, sort of what's come from some hard choices and from consistent effort, yeah, it's very powerful. So do you have any examples of that in your life? Maybe where you've made some hard choices and stuck to your guns, or maybe tried new things and you've been consistent in some actions. And is there any micro wins out there? It's good just to slow down for a minute, man. I've been going full speed. Yeah, so it's good to reflect. And there's more. I could go on. But hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully you've had a moment to reflect on the goodness in your life, where you've had some wins, some progress, maybe some relationships that are thriving right now, or new ones, or maybe you've got existing relationships that are really blossoming into new. I don't know, a ton of stuff. Or maybe you're just doing well in your current endeavors, and it's nice to reflect on that and go, you know what, I'm doing well, I'm in a good space. I'll also say I have this little house that I love, so I was reflecting on that. It's perfect for what I need right now. I have this. I'm gonna open a loop here, and then I'll let you get back to your day. I had this moment where I was fighting with ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been a big friend for me, but all of a sudden was not my friend. Man, when ChatGPT, when a conversation goes sideways with ChatGPT and ChatGPT digs in her heels. Oh my gosh. So I was trying to have ChatGPT write a consolidated weekly email for me. And we were fighting, but I had a massive breakthrough with some messy action coming out of that, and I can't wait to talk about it. That's one thing I've been reflecting on, and I'm like, I can't talk about it because I was going to do a podcast episode on it. So that'll be an episode coming up. You've got that to look forward to. All right, everybody, have a great day out there. Life is good. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Table Rush Talk Show. For resources to help you sell your stuff, go to belove.media/resources. That's belove.media/resources. And be sure to subscribe, comment, 5-star, and share. Thank you again for listening.